Thanks, Ben. The headlines in the South East today. Racism, sexism and homophobia are rife at Brighton's refuse collection department, according to a new report.
The report is shocking, the report is sickening. It describes an absolutely toxic department at City Clean.
We're live in the city this lunchtime with the details. Care for the Carers, the new film encouraging families dealing with dementia to seek support.
And it's finally starting to feel like autumn. Weather warnings out for tomorrow. I'll have the details later in the programme.
Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Ellie Crisell. Racism, sexism, homophobia are commonplace at City Clean. That's the waste collection service run by Brighton and Hove City Council, and that's according to a new report by a senior lawyer. The report says workers made explicit threats of physical violence against colleagues and racially and sexually harassed other staff and managers in a workplace where swearing, shouting and threatening behaviour has become routine. One witness said aggression has become culturally ingrained. Council leaders say they will take immediate action. Let's cross live to our reporter Charlie Rose, who's in Brighton for us this lunchtime. Charlie, this report follows complaints by whistleblowers there.
Yes, Ellie, this is an alarming report packed full of evidence gathered from around 70 people. It contains some serious allegations of sexual harassment, discrimination based on race or disability, bullying and intimidation. It also contains detail of a lot of foul language, much of which we simply cannot broadcast. Now, the leader of Brighton and Hove City Council says she commissioned the report when she took office in May to tackle problems which she says have been going on for many years.
It's absolutely shocking, and today I want to apologise on behalf of Brighton and Hove City Council to any staff member that has been affected either directly or indirectly by the behaviours that are outlined in this report. I also want to say that this stops today.
Well, tensions are running high here today. We've already had two members of staff come out to speak to us, worried that we might be identifying workers. We did ask the GMB union for an interview. They declined, but they sent us a statement. They say a process of positive change has transformed the union in recent years, adding that they're deeply concerned by the contents of the report published today, and they say they take firm action when incidents are identified that don't meet expected standards. Now, in the past, disciplinary action against workers has been stymied by the threat of industrial action, but the leader of Brighton and Hove City Council say the workers should now expect disciplinary action in the light of this report as they try to get this depot to clean up its act. Ellie.
Charlie, thank you. Parents in the South East are calling for more support for dyscalculia, a learning difficulty that affects numeracy. Around 6% of the population are impacted by the condition, which is often described as the sister to dyslexia. The government says it's planning to reform the support system for children. Peter Cherry says dyscalculia prevented him passing his maths GCSE, which affected his job prospects, even though he now has a PhD.
I feel like I'm highly capable in many ways, but because of this maths GCSE, doors were just closed. It was, honestly, it felt utterly miserable. So, yeah, I just think as a society, we are not very inclusive of people with low numeracy at all.
Detectives investigating an armed robbery on a train in Kent have released an image of a man they'd like to speak to. The victim was approached by a man who boarded the train at Baton Ball station at Sevenoaks. The man put on a balaclava before pulling out a knife and demanding the victim's bag. He then left the train at Ainsford with two others. An investigation into a fire that destroyed the Albion Hotel in Brighton in the summer has found that it started accidentally. East Sussex Fire and Rescue Service says it was probably caused by a discarded cigarette. Parts of the 200-year-old building had to be demolished after the fire left it structurally unsafe. Caring for a loved one with dementia can be a huge challenge. Accessing the right support is vital, but for families from a South Asian background, seeking help can be something of a taboo. As Chrissy Reedy reports, to help raise awareness of dementia, 2 films have been shown in Crawley as a reminder that carers can and should reach out for help.
What are we doing here, Neil?
We're going to play cricket.
Why? What's the point?
Because it'll be fun.
It's a film about dementia to remind South Asian communities help is out there. But for many, there's still taboo around the illness, which stops people accessing the right support.
The South Asian community, as we know, very home-orientated, living in extended families, even now, even though the kids are more professional and maybe, you know, not at home all the time. But I think with the diverse communities, there's a different dynamics within communities and within families. And I think that dynamic we need to really approach with dementia.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be a bit late this morning.
That's okay, Neil.
Saj is an actor from Crawley. He appeared in one of the films and brought his own personal experience to the role after his grandfather Govind lived with dementia for 5 years.
The importance of the collective is given prevalence over the individual sometimes in South Asian cultures and societies, and so it's up to us to break that taboo. Instead of worrying and wondering about what other people will think, if we begin to prioritise the mental health of our loved ones, we'll begin to see that the community will actually come together to support and enable that rather than judge it.
It's estimated the number of South Asians diagnosed is set to increase by 600% within the next 3 decades.
That sense of losing independence for the patient and also losing independence for the carer, because that relation, you may have been married in that generation, you might have been married 50 years, 60 years, and suddenly getting someone to acknowledge that there are needs that you can't meet. People struggle with that.
If you're caring for someone who's got dementia, try to find a meaningful way to connect with them.
Having a loved one diagnosed with dementia is painful for any family. But by reaching out for help, people can live well with dementia, and it's a journey that doesn't need to be done alone. Chrissy Reedy, BBC South East Today, Crawley.
Now it's time to get the boots and the coats out because autumn is finally here, Rachel, isn't it? We've waited a while.
It's wet and then it's going to be cold. It's all going on. Yes, autumn has arrived. Lots of cloud around, as I'm sure you were earlier today. And that thick cloud is going to be staying with us for the rest of the day as well. It was a bit damp as well, wasn't it? And we're going to be holding on to some fairly light patchy rain through the afternoon as well. Into tonight, though, that's going to be turning really quite heavy. We've got warnings out from the Met Office valid through tonight and for tomorrow about that heavy rainfall. We could even see up to an inch of rainfall and strong winds gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour. Now we'll get to that in just a moment. Earlier, of course, that rain clearing its way eastwards and behind it lots of cloud. Heading through the afternoon, some fairly light patchy rain and drizzle, quite mild still. Temperatures 19 or 20 degrees. Of course, it's not feeling particularly pleasant. Now into tonight, we start to see that rainfall. Lots of deep blues behind me, indicating how heavy that rainfall is likely to be. And again, just look at these wind gusts at around 30 miles per hour. So potentially some travel disruption first thing. And as you head through the day for Friday, further pulses of heavy rain, still feeling quite mild with temperatures of 18 or 19 degrees. But of course, with wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour and heavy rain, not feeling like it.
Big contrast with last weekend, isn't it?
Difference.
Welcome to Britain. Thank you very much, Rachel. That's it from me. I'm back though at 6:30. Have a good afternoon. Bye bye.